Welcome to Talking Buffalo, featuring conversations with guests from around the world of sports, media, pop culture, and all things Buffalo, with your host, Patrick Moran.
All right, what is going on, everybody? How you doing? Welcome to another episode of Talking Buffalo, your weekday daily driver for Buffalo sports talk and more. My name is Patrick Moran. Big thank you to everybody out there, as always, for watching, for listening, for following, for subscribing. I do appreciate y'all very much. This is our Tuesday audio episode anyway, and the podcast will be dropping overnight. If you haven't even watching this on video and you're up late on a Monday night, actually live here at around 10 p.m. or so, and I am joined for the first of what will be a handful of Buffalo Bills kind of like season preview eccentric episodes. My man from Queens, New York, Joe from Queens, man. What's going on, man? What's up?
Not much, man. I'm tired. We just were away for this weekend, and we got back like about a half hour ago from New Jersey. Long
Holiday weekend,
a long
nice
fucking
beer, though.
yeah, a long ass. I don't know if you and the missus and Shane went on little road trips when he was like 1 year old, or your daughter or whatever.
Yeah,
but,
I don't.
Man,
remember.
Of course you don't. You were drunk half the time when you were younger, or high, one of those two. I'm not, sadly. I'm responsible, but yeah, it took forever to get home from like the Jersey Shore, but it was a fun weekend. Did some fun stuff.
That's good.
Yeah, it was. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, I'm glad you had a fun holiday weekend. There was no show yesterday. These next four shows starting with tonight. And again, if you're watching this on video, I mean, it'll be on demand afterwards as well, but we are live here on YouTube, kind of testing out a little bit of some like Talking Buffalo after dark episodes. I thought it would be a good idea to try doing some of these live later at night. In fact, we're going to be doing starting this week because football is absolutely back. Real football, regular season begins this week. We're going to do at least the Sunday games. There's 14 games that are either at 1 or 4 o'clock. We're going to do all those games at 10 p.m. So we're going to go live at 10 p.m. on Sundays, following Bills 1 o'clock and 4 p.m. games. Primetime games, whenever those games are, we will be live along with a million other podcasts after
that has to steal your takes first, and then we're going live.
That's the night ones. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's why we're going late, so everyone. So if you want Pat to be wrong, have wrong takes.
Before we get into this episode, which is going to be, Joe came up. I tasked Joe with coming up with some categories to have predictions on, and they're all Buffalo Bills related pretty much anyway. To your credit, you did a good job. Individual, couple team things. We will get into those on the show today. Want to let you know, before we get cooking with this one, handful of shows coming up here involving Talking Buffalo. So again, most of you are probably listening to this sometime on Tuesday night. I am going to be at Sports City Pizza Pub, Niagara Street on the west side. Sal Capaccio is having a live episode of Sal Sports. He's going to have some media folk there in the house. He asked me to stop up, so I'm going to jump on that. Then also later in the night, I'm going to be live here with a live episode of Talking Buffalo. I'm going to have my buddy Tone Pucks with me. He is, by the way, foaming at the mouth to get some Bills takes off, man. He has not been on the show in like good 6 weeks, and he's raring to go. So that should be good. That's going to be Tuesday. Wednesday night, I'm going to be live. Sunny Reds in Lackawanna. I'm going to be joined by two special guests. Howard Simon, formerly of WGR 550, longtime sports talk radio show host. Howard's going to be with me live, as well as Bills beat reporter Matt Perino. And again, that's going to be Wednesday live, Sunny Reds. And then we're coming back the very next night. I'm going to be live at Imperial Pizza. Jay Skursky of the Buffalo News is going to be with me. And just before I went on air here, I confirmed Nate Gary from WGR 550 is going to be with me as well. So Jesus. Nate Gary, Jay Skursky on Thursday, Howard Simon, Matt Perino on Wednesday. I'll be doing Sal Capaccio show on Tuesday, Tone Pucks Tuesday night. Joe from Queens with me right now. It's the first week, regular season, dude. It's time to get wild, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to cook.
You got a lot of media guys hanging out with you this week. How many free wings are you giving them to hang out with? I know there's got to be something in their contract.
There's a couple, man.
Cool.
There's a couple. I always look forward to going to the Sunny Rides and Imperial, two of my favorite spots. Sports 80 Pizza Pub. You've never been there, have you? That's on the west side, Niagara Street. Nice place. I think you would like it, man. Good pizza and wings. But besides that, you're a craft beer guy. They got some decent craft beers there as well. I don't know exactly what their list is, but they got a pretty extensive list. It's a really nice place on the west side. And
one day I'll come back home and you can take me to one of these places for a live show and pander to me like your buddies, so I can get some free food and wings and meet some of the common folks out there who want to throw tomatoes at me for being such a dick on this podcast. But anyways, I'm good for you, man. You seem like you really got a lot going on this week. So
well, probably, I was talking to my wife before the show. I was like, this is probably, so I would say the first week going into the regular season and the week of the NFL draft are probably the two busiest weeks of the year in terms of optimism and excitement, because it's just a clean slate. Everyone is raring to go. It's been so long since there's been a regular season game. People are excited. The week of the draft, you hear about mock drafts and stuff like that for so many weeks. You're just ready to get it over with. So that week's always busy. Like right before maybe free agency starts too, that week could be busy as well. But it's a very exciting time. A little bit different though for the Bills this year, Joe, because Vegas betting wise, okay, so I looked this up shortly before we jumped on here. They're 15-1 to win the Super Bowl, which is still the 7th best odds in the league. It's 4th in the AFC. Kansas City is the Super Bowl favorites. They're 5-1. Baltimore's at 10-1, and Cincy's at 14-1. They're ahead of the Bills in the AFC, who are at 15-1. Again, you're in the top 7 out of 32 right now with Super Bowl odds, but doesn't it still feel a little bit different to you? Like the last 3 years, if the Bills weren't the favorite to win the Super Bowl, they were in the top 2 or 3. So it seems like in some ways, Vegas considers them a little bit more of a long shot.
I mean, 7th seems okay, but in comparison to the years past, I don't blame them for dropping down. We've talked about this, but we'll talk about it again. Since we're here, but look, they lost a lot of players. The roster's in transition. There's not as many household names as there used to be.
Right.
I think 7 is actually pretty respectable. I think it's a good number. I don't know if you can come out and play your bullshit like, oh, everyone's against us, man, and do that like crybaby shit that I hate. I think 7th is fine. I think 4th and where they are 4th is
4th
pretty
in the
good.
AFC.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have them 4th, but I actually think, who do I think is better than them? I think it was
Kansas City. You had Kansas City.
Yeah,
Baltimore,
I think Houston's better. I think Houston's better, and I even think if Cleveland got some sort of quarterback play and like Deshaun Watson wasn't dead, I just think there's a lot of rosters. Take Josh Allen out of the equation. There's a lot of rosters in the AFC that I think are better. And obviously you can't take Josh Allen out, but I just think
that's the whole thing.
That's the whole thing. But I think there's some good teams in the AFC. So
there is. I would, look, I'm going to say this. I understand if you think this is going to be not you, anybody out there who's watching or listening, if you think this is going to be a down year for the Bills, if you are pessimistic about their outlook for 2024, I don't think that's crazy talk whatsoever. I could completely see it. I certainly understand it. They lost a lot on paper, and they are going through a transition, certainly of sorts.
Sure.
But I completely understand that point of view. I also understand people who, including myself, for what it's worth there, and kind of a little bit of a spoiler as we're getting into this stuff, but I'm still very high on this football team. I think this offense is going to be significantly better than most people think it's going to be this year because of the quarterback. The quarterback, a great quarterback like a Mahomes, a Burrow, a Josh Allen, to some extent a Lamar Jackson, who's won an MVP twice. Actually, Lamar's a great example. Baltimore's offense has kind of had not a lot of talent around him, but the dude still won 2 MVPs. My point is this: the great quarterbacks can mask some deficiencies. And with the Bills, I look at it this way. You got 17 games on the schedule. 16 of those 17 games, you're going to have the better quarterback on the football field. I'll give Kansas City, I'll give Mahomes that game. Every other game, Josh Allen to me is the better quarterback on the football field. And you can't count quarterback just like one of 22 other positions. It's the most important position. That's why I'm still high on Buffalo, at least higher than most. So I kind of understand both sides of the fence. If you're an optimist, if you're a pessimist, and I kind of feel like you're in between. Like you're not completely down on the team.
I'm kind of down. I would say I'm more pessimistic. I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, we'll get into my predictions, but I think I'm a little bit lower on them than a lot. Look, it depends where you go, where you're listening to your sports talk coverage. If it's local, I feel like the hype bros still think that they're going to be good, and like they're retweeting Nick Wright saying that they're not, and pleasuring themselves to their own smell of their farts of being like, yeah, they're going to be great. And then national, it's probably, I don't know. Like I feel like it depends. Like I've listened to some national stuff. Like the last couple of weeks, everyone's been pissed off about how Josh Allen was overrated by players, and like ESPN talking heads were like, you're full of it. Like almost all of them were in unison. Yeah. So, I don't know how much you're gonna folks are playing into. It depends where you're listening to the stuff at. I'm not as optimistic as I said. I'm just I don't know. I don't see it this year in terms of, I think they're taking a step back this year.
Well, let's get into, again, we have 20 different categories, and what we'll do is we'll go through them. Some will kind of be self-explanatory, and they won't take long at all. Others, maybe we'll have a little bit of a.
And let me explain this. This is my idea. Since you took my heat again, it's my idea, and then you give me a little credit, then you went on and on. So here's the deal.
Plenty of credit.
You gave me a little, okay? So here's the deal. These are 20 predictions that are sure to go wrong, probably. And I don't care what happens. At the end of the season, we're going back to these, and we're going to see who was right and who was wrong. Okay? I know you don't like being right ever, or you don't like being wrong because you're scared, and you don't want Terrell Bernard syndrome again with you.
That is absurd.
Yeah,
I would say I'm the opposite. Are you kidding me? First of all, I don't delete tweets. Especially takes, and I am an instant knee-jerk reactor. I say shit after one game all the time. I'll tell you that Dorian Williams is going to be an absolute bust if he doesn't play well in week 1. So that's not true. That's bullshit.
Okay, well, either way, we're making these predictions, and at the end of the year, we're going to go back to see how wrong and stupid we were, okay? Because we have accountability here. This is the accountability crib.
Okay, well, you kind of teased. Last thing here, you kind of teased that you're down on this team and you're pessimistic. I hope you want to be wrong.
Hell yeah,
you want to be wrong.
No, I definitely
or would you rather be right so you can shove it in my face at the expense of the Bills not being as good this year? It's at least crossed your mind.
No, I like the Bills to be good. Like I'll be on here, and I'm going to give it a month, and then I'll say like, oh, I was wrong. I'm going to be the first to say I was wrong, than to say I was right, especially with this. Like, but I've been pretty right on the last couple of years. Like I was right with their record, and aside from the Damar Hamlin, the canceled game, I had them to go in 13-3 or 13-4 in 2022. They went 13-3, and then last year I had it all down to a T. It was 11-6, and I said they were going to lose to the Chiefs in the divisional playoffs, and they lost to them, and that was that. And now it's a different year. So
victory laps though. No victory laps.
No, the victory lap will happen later. Like, at the end of the year, if they lose, if I'm right, but I'm going to be disappointed. I want them to win. I want them to prove me wrong.
Well, all right.
Reverse psychology here.
That's kind of what I was trying to get out of you here. You want to be wrong. You want the Bills to be good. I want people to understand it, because there are some people, you got a lot of fans on this show. A lot of people love your takes. They think you're quirky, if not crazy. But there's some people out there who just think you're a straight up Bills hater. And, you want the Bills to lose, because if the Bills lose, it gives you more ammunition to talk shit about them. I'm just saying, there's a portion of people out there. And so I wanted to make sure we got an opportunity to clarify that.
I'm an objective fan. Okay. I don't drink the Kool-Aid. I don't go on Bills Twitter to get likes by finding idiots who hate the Bills, and that's my gimmick. No, I'm a hater and a lover at the same time. Okay.
You're a hater and a lover at the same time.
Yeah. Like I could do both.
That's a great quote. All right. Joe, who is a lover and a hater at the same time. Let's get this going. All right. So number one, again, there's going to be 20 of these.
Sure.
Predictions for 2024. Who will lead the team in receptions and receiving yards? And you made this into a two-parter because I saw on your Google Doc. So you got two separate answers. Who's
Yes.
going to lead the team in receptions? Who's going to lead the team in receiving yards?
I got Dalton Kincaid's going to lead the team in receptions. It just makes sense. They're going to put him in the slot. He's beefed up Cole Beasley. He was second in the team last year in receptions. I just feel like he's going to catch a lot of balls this year.
Okay.
I think the biggest question is how long are the yardage going to be? Because that's a little bit of a concern because his yards per catch last year weren't great. In terms of who's going to lead the team in receiving yards, I think it's going to be Shakir. I think Josh Allen, for his career, has primarily used their wide receivers more than he's used the tight ends for down the field passing. And I think Shakir is going to be that guy for him this year. So Shakir's great over the middle, all that stuff he can do.
Okay. I have for this question, my answer is the same for both. And I got Khalil Shakir. I think he's going to lead the team. I think he's definitely going to lead the team in receiving yards, actually. Because, like you said, you called him a beefed up Cole Beasley. To me, he's a guy like gets open like Beasley, good hands like Beasley, but he could turn an 8-yard curl into a 35-yard gain. He has that ability to break tackles and make people miss. I think he's going to have some big games. I think he's going to be consistent, and that's why he would lead the team in yards. I don't think he's going to be like Stephon Diggs. He's not going to get 100 yards, 8 different times during the season. But I think he's going to be pretty consistent. Receptions, I think, will be close. You can make a case for Kincaid, but I'm also going to go with Khalil Shakir. I just think he's going to be out there a hell of a lot. He's a guy that Josh Allen trusts. They're going to find him often. And he's going to be, again, a chain mover. So I got him for both. Quick sidebar question here. When you mentioned Dalton Kincaid leading the team in catches, I had my friend football fantasy draft, our league, with all of our close friends and family. 15 years now we've been doing the same league. Anyway, Dalton Kincaid was the third tight end off the board in the draft. I think maybe third, fourth round at the latest. Is that a little bit early? I took him, by the way. So I'm calling. Did I make a little bit of a homer pick? Did I jump? Kelsey was first. I can't even remember who was the second tight end, but I'm pretty sure Laporta. It went Laporta and Kelsey, or Kelsey Laporta, and then I took Kincaid.
Yeah, it's definitely a
the
homer.
third round.
Anyone in the Bills draft, any Bills fan is picking their Bills players high. I agree. When it comes to fantasy drafts for the Bills, I always avoid them. I rarely have them, and it's just I'm not gonna, because a lot of them go really high, and I'm like, F that, I'm not gonna pay it. And they got third best tight end in football. I think is a little much there, buddy.
He's my only Bill. Another thing too, I had the 6th pick in the draft, right? This is a 10-team league, and again, these are close friends. Family, my son's in the league, my wife's in the league. We've been doing this for a long time. Anyway, I had the 6th pick. I strongly considered picking Josh Allen with the 6th overall pick. And I know a lot of people would shake their head and say, what are you, crazy?
No,
picking a quarterback.
That makes sense.
Number one, in our league, you get a little more like points for passing yards a little easier. And I think you get an extra point for a touchdown pass in some other standard leagues. Plus, when they call these quarterbacks, Josh Allen and Jalen Hurts, it ain't like it used to be, man. These guys rush for 10 to 13 touchdowns, man. They get more rushing touchdowns than running backs. Josh Allen runs for 40 yards and a touchdown a game, or whatever. It's 9-10 points when he gets a week with his legs. So I took Jonathan Taylor, though. I feel like I'm going to regret that later on. All right, enough talk about my fantasy football. Number 2, speaking of Josh Allen here, fantasy related, I guess. Will Josh Allen have over 30 touchdown passes?
I said no. I think this is going to be a year that they're going to rush the football more, and I don't think they're going to pass it as much as they've done in the past. I'm not saying they're going to be like, I know I joke a lot with like they're going to run the ball 5,000 times or whatever, but I think you're going to see a lot of that this year, and I think it's going to be different. And last year he didn't have over 30 touchdown passes, so I don't know why this year I'm supposed.
He didn't have over 30 touchdown passes last year?
No.
Really?
Nope, he did not. I hope I'm right, but I looked it up. I think he had 27 or 28, and if I'm wrong,
no, you're actually right. He had 29 last year.
Yeah,
so
I mean it was off by 1, but whatever. Yeah, I thought.
Well, he didn't have 30. I mean,
he didn't have 30, and that's just kind of where I'm at. I just think because the receiving core is just different this year, and obviously I don't have Josh Allen throwing for like 22, but I think he's going to be in that 27, 28 range. And I think they're just going to run the football a lot more, I think, this year than they did last year. So
his last 4 years from 2020 through last season, 37 touchdowns, 36, 35, and then last year, just 29. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't know that. Literally just looked that up right now in real time. I did not know that. Anyway, all right. So you say no.
It's kind of crazy. Real quick, then we'll get your decision. That you can make the case that his yardage and his passing touches have gone down. Which is weird. The kind of like it doesn't talked about. And when it says it hasn't gotten talked about, but it has gone down a little bit.
Sure. He throws he throws for a lot of yards with not a lot of touchdown passes, because his last 4 years, he's thrown his worst season passing yardage wise was 4,283, and that was in 2022. Last year he did for just a little bit more than that, 4,306. I'm still going to say yes. I'll say this too, though. Part of the reason why I don't think he got over 30 last year is because he ran the ball in short yardage so much. Sure. The Bills, and I don't have this, don't fact check me here, but I'm pretty confident in saying that the Bills did not score a lot throwing the football inside the 10-yard line. I don't want to say the red zone, but like when it was like first to goal or inside the 5, like Patrick Mahomes seems to get 13 to 15, shovel pass touchdowns or flip touchdowns every year. Whereas the Bills, they got inside the 5. It was pounding it close and Josh Allen push time to score, which whatever, it worked. I thought this was a lot easier of a question than it turns out it's going to be. I'm still saying yes. At the end of the day, you're playing 17 games. That's, God, man, that's not even 2 touchdown passes.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. I mean, like I said, I said below that.
Sure.
But I could totally see him just trashing my going past 30. But
right. I agree.
I got a little bit before that. Like I said, he didn't do it last year, and I don't know why he would do it this year if I think his wide receivers are less and they're going to run the football more.
Sure. All right. So you say no, I say yes. Josh Allen, 30 touchdowns. All right, number 3 here. Will James Cook have more rushing yards this season than last season? Last season, he had 1,122 yards.
Yeah, and I said yes. I mean, I just kind of went into my vision as far as why I think he's going to do better. He didn't really do much the first half of the year, under Dorsey. They passed the ball a lot more, and I think that's ultimately what led to Dorsey's demise. Was there wasn't enough balance to Sean McDermott's liking, and when Brady came in, it was a much more balanced attack. Kept Sean McDermott's defense off the field, which we all know Sean McDermott wants that because he loves his defense. He wants his defense to be the greatest of all time. He needs 75 defensive lineman rotations, all that shit. So I think that he's going to go over that. I mean, it's 17. I'll do the same thing you just did. It's 17 games. He only has to average like 70 yards, and he's past that maybe. Yeah. I think he's going to do it. I think he'll go past that yardage.
Okay, I'm going no. So I like this. We're not agreeing on shit right off the bat. I kind of like.
You're a homer. Actually. You're a pandering homer.
What are you talking about? I'm saying no. He's not going to run for.
Oh yeah, right. You're right.
22 yards.
Okay, yeah, but you still think the offense is going to be amazing this year. You got it on the Hall of Fame.
A couple of reasons. The biggest one is I straight up think Ray Davis is going to take more carries away from him than Latavius Murray did last year. Not to mention Ty Johnson. Plus, there's going to be times where Josh Allen runs the football. By the way, James Cook last year is 1,122 yards. Quietly, it seemed he was 4th in the NFL in rushing.
I know,
last year, man.
It's amazing just how badly rushing is now. It's like, why would you pay someone a second contract or give them a ton of money? It's just like, man, like 1,100. I mean, do you remember back in our day when we were young and really good looking instead of mediocre now? That used to be like 1,500 yards, 2,000, like close to that. It was like the shit, and now it's just like. Well,
conversely, getting 80 catches a year was amazing, and now in today's football, it's like that's almost barely better than mid for starting receivers who are good anyway. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna say no. I think the combination of 2 other good running backs and Josh Allen and just other circumstances, including James Cook, I still feel like, man, he drops a pass and he gets on Joe Brady or Sean McDermott's bad side. He could find himself in a platoon this year with Ray Davis. So anyway, long story short there, I'm saying no. Number 4, will Dawson Knox rebound from last season? Now, he had good years in 2021, 2022, Not so much last year. Injuries part of it, just inconsistent play, and kind of became an afterthought for the most part in this offense. Will Dawson Knox rebound from last season?
No, I got no. Reason is I think with Kincaid being on the field and they're going to do a lot of different looks, like they'll do 12 personnel, but then they're going to 3 wide receivers sometimes. And they just have not proven to me that they can do a 12 personnel file with having their tight ends both be involved. Like he just didn't, even before he got hurt last year, Dawson Knox was invisible. And he's a good run. I think he's going to be that guy. They're going to be like, we want you back here to block more, and we got to seal the edge so Cook gets to the outside, all that shit. And look, for everyone that's wondering, well, what's a rebound season? I would say between 40, I would say like 50 catches. Like if he gets over 50 catches, he's
I was going to ask you what
like over 50 is a rebound to me. Like I'm not asking him. I'm asking him to get 3 fucking catches a game, and then he rebounds. So there you go.
I was trying to look him up right now, but you said, all right. So you said over 50 a game.
Yeah.
Last year he only had, let's see, he played in 12 games and he had 22 catches.
20, like
right.
Terrible. Like, yeah.
I'm saying yes to the rebound, but I'm also saying it with an asterisk because what did you say? What do you constitute statistically as a guideline? Like, I'll give you an example. His 2 years, because they were almost identical numbers, 21, 22.
He had more touchdowns. He had
49 and 48 catches, and then he had 587 yards 1 year, 5-something the second year. So let's say 45 catches for about 500 yards. Is that the parameter? That's a rebound. That would be close to what his
it's double. Yeah, I guess. Fine. I said 50. I mean, God, you're fucking paying this guy a lot more to just be Josh Allen.
Oh, absolutely, man. Yeah, yeah, we're both saying right now, just have decent stats. Kind of would be I'm going to say yes, but I don't think he's going to have 49 catches for 587 yards. I think he's going to have a rebound year because he's going to be more consistent.
Sure.
I hope. Anyway, I'm being hopeful, maybe a little bit too optimistic here, but the drops won't be an issue. Catch a couple big touchdowns, you know what I mean? That's kind of because he didn't have any, not many big plays last year at all.
Nothing. Yeah, he wasn't good. Yeah, like I said, I would like him to get over. We'll debate that when we reconvene at the end of the season, but like I would like over 50. For me, that's a rebound. I'm asking him to get 3 catches a game. That ain't
let's get to a couple more of these, and we'll take a break here. Hopefully, we'll start flying through these a little bit quicker. Anyway, we're at number 5 here. Over under for Keon Coleman catches this year at 40.
Yes, I'm picking under. I think he's going to have less than 40 catches. I think I don't know. It just I keep going back to the running the football thing. I keep going back to I think there's other guys that they're going to spread the ball around to. This just is not going to be that offense where one wide receiver gets 130 targets like they've done it in the past. I think it's going to get spread around, and I don't think he's going to get 40 catches. I just think it's a lot to ask for a second-year guy.
I'm going to go over by the slightest of margin.
Oh, you changed it.
I changed it. I did. Originally, I said under, but I'm actually going to go over because, look, 17 games, 2.5 catches. That's about 41, 42 yards. I could see him doing that. I will say this. If you're out there thinking that Keon Coleman is going to have 60 catches for 750 yards and 9 touchdowns, I don't see that happening. I don't think he started. I think Matt Collins is going to play a lot more than people like or want. Maybe at some point in the season, MVS is going to get some run. I don't think MVS is going to get some immediate run, but he'll have some weeks where he'll be a guy. I just think he's going to be a guy who's brought along slow. And you got a good running game. You got Josh running the ball. You got Shakir. You got Samuel. Like I said, I think Matt Collins is going to be not invisible. Of course, Kincaid and Knox, really won football. This guy's going to have a couple moments, a couple games. And by the way, for people out there, if you happen to say, I'm not saying that Keon Coleman's going to suck. I'm saying the dude's going to be brought along slowly. He might develop slowly. I don't have high expectations for him this year. That don't mean I ain't got high expectations for Keon Coleman as a Buffalo Bill. Just want to be clear about that. Anyway, I'm going to say yes, but barely over. Like, if you made the over under 45 or 46, I would have said under. All right, next one here. Which offensive player will be the biggest scapegoat in 2024?
I got Mike Edwards, which I messed up his name
Dave
before.
Edwards.
David, well, you didn't put in his name. Do you see? This is how shitty I am. You know what? I
The
said
guard
Mike,
you're talking
the
about.
guard. Yeah, Dave Edwards. I'm an expert, guys. Don't. I'm paid for what I'm worth from Pat, which is nothing. Yes, Dave Edwards. I just feel like he is going to be a scapegoat because the line last year was so good, and I just feel like we might have a regression with the Mitch Morris, being out of here. And I feel like the interior is going to be, there's some moving parts there. And I think he's going to be the one guy everyone's going to look at and go, who the hell is this guy? Like they just plopped him in like he was a backup. And it's like, hey, here you go. You're the new starting guard. And I think he's going to get a lot. I think he's going to get some shit. He's going to be the new John Miller, I guess, or Jordan Mills. Who knows?
He was really good last year in a limited role as that 6th offensive lineman. Actually, he had the highest PFF grade of anyone on the team, but he wasn't a starter. Again, he was out there when they had 6 offensive linemen or in blowouts at the end of the game. Fun fact, too, the Bills Josh Allen was sacked the least of any quarterback in the NFL last year. The Bills offensive line gave up the fewest sacks in the NFL. Obviously, a lot of that was Josh Allen's escapability, of course. That's a factor in it as well. But yeah, offensive line was good. That's a concern. That's a good under the radar little sneaky pick from you.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm going to go with a guy we just talked about though. Keon Coleman. I think if this offense takes a step back, if this team is not as good this year, if they don't win the division this year and Keon Coleman doesn't have a big year, which I just said 5 minutes ago, I'm forecasting that he doesn't. I think he's going to be a scapegoat. Maybe technically you said player though, because I could have said Brandon Beane for taking Keon Coleman because if Xavier Worthy's better or Xavier Leggette's better or Lan McConkey's better, any of these guys are better their first year. There's going to be a lot of, well, you should have took this guy and not Keon Coleman. I just said what I said a minute ago. It's not that I don't like Keon Coleman. I just am not confident that he's going to come in as a rookie and give you the kind of production that you're hoping for. And there's going to be a lot of fans out there. A lot of people got those 0 jerseys already, Keon Coleman jerseys, who love the yellow jackets and the cookies and all that other shit. And the guys, I think, is going to have some rookie growing pains, and the expectations on him, especially after getting rid of Gabe Davis and Stephon Diggs, are going to be big. So I think he's going to be a scapegoat.
All right, that's fair. I mean, my whole thing with him, with the catches, is that, or why he won't be a scapegoat, is I think it's going to go on the coaching staff. It's going to be them being the scapegoat, right? Because he's not going to play enough. And I think
you're the scapegoat for the wording of this question, because you said which offensive player.
Well, that's what I mean. Yeah, player. You're right, but I'm saying that's why I don't think he will be the scapegoat. I think it's going to be they'll look at it like, oh, they're
McDermott sucks. Joe Brady can't get him the ball. How do you
he's not playing enough?
You're not scheming him open. Yeah. You're worried about 3-yard passes to Dalton Kincaid where you're not getting Keon Coleman down the field. If you're not going to throw him in the red zone, why'd you draft him? I get it. That's a good point. All right, one more here, then we'll get to a break. This is 7. Which offensive player will be the biggest surprise in a good way in 2024?
So while you were babbling, I corrected this on the document because I had a different answer and then I changed it because I could do that like you did with Keon Coleman. James Cook is going to have over 1,700 yards in total offense plus. I think he's going to get. I'm telling you, I think they're going to run the football.
You're really high on James Cook this year.
The thing is, I'm not high. I am, but I'm not. It's like, I don't want him to be high. I don't want him to be that good. Like, I want them to continue throwing the ball, but I just feel they're going to be more conservative with him a little bit. They're going to want to run the football more. And I just feel like they threw it to him a decent amount last year a little bit. I know he had some drop issues, but
3 touchdown drops, but yes.
Yeah, but they used him a little bit. And I feel, Brady comes from Carolina. Carolina used to have Christian McCaffrey. So he knows how to, he didn't have him all the time when he was there because there was some injury. One year he was hurt. The next year they traded him, but he has in his playbook plays that to get the running back involved, obviously. And obviously Cook is not McCaffrey in terms of catching, but I'm gonna put a little optimism and hope, in the hopium in Brady will get him involved more. Sure. And I feel like that's gonna be the surprise, that he will be a bigger all-purpose back and they're gonna throw it to him more. And I got him over 1,700 yards in total offense at least. So
okay, so that's your offensive surprise player in a good way.
yeah.
Mine is again, which if I'm one of us are not going to be right. I don't think so. I mean, technically, I suppose it's possible, but my offensive surprise in a good way. I've already said him once. I'm going to use him again. It's Ray Davis. I think Ray Davis is going to have a bigger role in this offense relatively early than most people think, which if that were to happen, that obviously comes at the expense of eating into James Cook's of his snaps. I don't really care which one of us is right. As a fan, I'm saying this right now.
You can't wait.
As a fan, I really don't give a shit which one of us are right. I care that one of them are having a real good season. Anyway, I'm going to take a really, really quick break on the video side, like literally 2 seconds, and then we're going to come back, bang out through these. Next one coming up is going to be your boldest prediction for the Bills offense in 2024. All right, I'm back here, Joe from Queens, and we are live on the YouTube video side anyway, late out of Monday night. Nearly 300 people here in the live chat. Pretty cool for a late night Monday. I want to kind of, like I said at the beginning here, I want to see how these late night shows go. If they go well, maybe we'll do some more of them. Anyway, we're going through 20 Buffalo Bills individual, couple team predictions as well along the way. We're up to number 8 right now. What is your boldest prediction for the Bills offense in 2024? Your boldest prediction for the Bills?
They will fall out of the top 10 in scoring. And that's what I have them at. I'm not saying they're going to be like 20th, but I think they're going to be in that 10 to 15 range. I just don't see it offensively this year like I have in the past. Last year, I think they were like 6th or 4th between there. And they've been up there in the upper echelon of the league.
They were 4th in offensive scoring last year. So that's pretty bold, and to say they're going to fall out of the top 10 from being 4.
Yeah. I feel like they're going to fall out of the top 10. And like I've talked about it before. I just think they've lost a lot of weapons, and I just don't think it's going to be as easy to score as it was.
Sure. And
it wasn't even easy last year. Like they kind of went on a run at the end. They scored more points, but they were so up and down with scoring. And I just think they're going to hit a little bit of a wall this year, and a wall by their standards, which will be like 11, 12 or something like that.
Sure. I was originally going to say that they would be top 5 in time of possession this year. That was going to be my bold prediction, but I honestly don't even know that would be that bold, because they were at the end of the year once Joe Brady took over, they were right near the top. I'm going to, you know what, this guy better be good, because I'll put in a lot of stock in
the Kool-Aid on this guy.
Last year I put 0 stock in Terrell Bernard.
Yep.
And he made me look like an idiot.
You love every rookie. Like an idiot. Every rookie known the man. This year, I am putting all the stock. It sounds like anyway into Ray Davis. I think Ray Davis is going to have at least close, not as much, but he's at least going to have close to the production that James Cook has for the Buffalo Bills this year. I don't really need to explain. I've already elaborated on what I think he could do. Well, no, I haven't really said this. I think he can run in between the tackles well. I think he'll close out some games. And he's also good coming out of the backfield, and he has a knack for finding the end zone. He did it in Kentucky a ton. So I like him. I know you like him. You like all the rookies. You're trying to make up for Bernard's miss last year, even though he wasn't a rookie. But I get it.
I mean, it's not like he's a blue chip guy. Well, that's not true. I just said Keon Coleman. I don't think he's basically going to do shit this year, man. And I got Ray Davis, a 4th rounder, talking like he might be the MVP of his offense.
Look, if there's one position that you can definitely like count on a rookie to do really well in, I think is a running back. It's always been that, like, hey, you get a running back in there, he can be good. He can plug him in there. Now, my thing is this couple things why I don't agree with that. I think they like Cook a lot. I also think this is an organization that makes running backs kind of pay their dues. You know, they did it with Singletary. They even did it with Cook.
Sure.
They didn't make Cook play right away. And I remember sitting there like, where's Cook? Why isn't he playing? And they're going to Singletary and Moss, and then Naheem Hines they traded for. So I don't trust Sean
Let me be
McDermott
clear, too. Let me be clear, Joe. Take James Cook out of the equation completely for a second here. There's no guarantee that Ray Davis is even the number 2 running back on this team right now. It
Sure.
very easily could be Ty Johnson getting a lot. Like if James Cook drops 2 passes and Sean gets pissed at him, or he fumbles, or he gets hurt, there ain't no guarantee that Ty Johnson's not going to be the one to get a lion's share of these snaps. So I'm just kind of going predictions here, kind of gut feelings. Let's switch sides of the ball here. 9. Who will be the Bills' defensive MVP?
Oh, I think it's going to be Greg Rousseau. I've been somewhat high. I just feel like it's going to click this year for him. He's been in the league this is year 4 for him. And I just feel like this is the time for him. He's got the talent there. He's been getting better every year. He's been in the league, and the guy is a monster. And I think this is going to be the year where he's going to put it all together, and he's going to be their MVP.
And he could be playing for big money too. Yes. Not a lot to even really go over that. I completely agree with you there. Number 10, who will lead the team in interceptions?
I'm going with Rasul Douglas. I think, he came on like when the Bills traded for him from Green Bay last year. I kind of felt like, all right, this is a dude. I talked to someone who like was a fan of the Packers, and they said like he's going to get burned a lot. He's the type of guy who gets burned, but he gets picks.
Yeah,
and I think he's very aggressive, and I just feel like an aggressive corner is going to get more picks, especially with like Hyde and Poyer being not there anymore, and we don't know what the fuck's going to go on with the safety position. I don't even know as of right now who's starting. You have to fill me in. I got dad brain right now who's starting at safety.
We don't know. Nobody knows.
No one knows. Right I don't know at all.
We're in the Monday night, Tuesday morning and afternoon, and we don't even know. I think if Mike Edwards is healthy, he's going to be the starter. But I'm with you, by the way.
Sure.
Rasul Douglas. He reminds me of which I agree with you, Diggs from the Cowboys. I'm talking about a guy who gets beat a lot. Well, he does. Well, he does get beat, but he also makes plays. He gets thrown at a lot, because he gets beat, but he also makes he makes plays. Christian Benford, you don't get thrown to that, man. He's a solid guy, man. He's good in coverage. You don't get a lot at him. I was tempted to say Taron Johnson, but who knows, man? He blitzes a lot more too, as well. Sure. It could be. I like Douglas as well, though. So I agree with you there. 11. Who will lead the team in sacks? I feel like
it's like the Greg Rousseau party right now. It's the one guy you and I both agree on. It's going to be good. So
yeah, this is 3 in a row too.
This is 3 in a row.
Yeah, 3 in a row we've agreed on. Well, let me ask you this: so his career high in sacks is 8.
8, yeah.
What would you, if you were?
I got him at 12.
I were to say, you said 12, because I was going to say 10. If I said 10.5, the over under, you're going over. Then you go over.
I'm going over. I just feel like
you're really high on him this year. Then.
I just feel like it's just there's something in the air. I'm not going to sit here and go, I've been watching the fucking tape. I just feel like this is it. Like this is. I sometimes rely on feeling in terms of like where you are as a pro. And by the third, fourth season for defensive linemen, that's when it clicks for them. And that's when it usually does. It's not early in their career. It's not that first, second year. And this guy's he's been solid, since day one.
He's also been banged up a lot. Like he hasn't missed games, but he's played hurt.
Yeah.
I don't think we've seen the full experience Greg Rousseau yet.
Yeah. And I just feel like this is going to be, he's paying, I'll throw the plane for a contract thing that's coming up soon. He wants to get fucking paid. And like, I just feel, and he deserves it, or like, go for it, bro. Like, do it. But I think I think he's going to have a double-digit sack here.
Okay. Number 12 here. The Bills were 4th in scoring defense in 2023. Will they be better in 2024? So the Bills, by the way, last year were 4th in scoring in offense and 4th in scoring in defense. And it's funny because they were 6-6. They didn't even feel like it was a good season until the last 5-6 weeks of the year, but they were 4th in both last year. Anyway, the Bills were 4th in scoring defense.
Yeah.
Will they be better this year?
No, they're not going to be better. No. The 4th is a lot to ask for. And I was kind of, when I looked at it, I was like, wow, good for them. Even though we just kissed Greg Rousseau's ass for like the last 5 minutes, I just feel like there's question marks at safety. There's question marks outside of Rousseau and Ed Oliver. I don't know what you're getting with the rest of this defensive line. I don't. And then Bernard is we're now relying on Bernard to be like Matt Milano kind of in a way with Matt Milano out. And it's just like, I just can't see them being better. 4th is great. That's you take that every year, like to give me that if you want. Like, I mean, I'd rather have the best offense of all time than fucking complimentary.
What if I changed the question? What if I changed it and said from 4th and I said 10th? The Bills would be a top 10 scoring defense this year. Would you say yes or no at that point? You're talking still the best third of the league.
No, I think they're going to drop more. I'm not. I know you. I think we talked about this on our bet line private message that you're more concerned about the offense, and I am too. I hear that. Oh no. You're. I thought you said you were more concerned about the offense. No, you're not. Okay. Then we're on the same page. I'm concerned about the defense. I'm
more concerned about the defense. My answer is no as well. I don't think they have much of a, I shouldn't say no chance. Top 4, that's incredibly ambitious. I would say top 10 would be a realistic goal, and I'm not even sure they'll do that. Yeah, dude, there's a lot of questions on this defense, and you hit on some of them. I don't know nothing about the safeties. There's questions on a defensive edge after Greg Rizzo, and Matt Milano being hurt again is a big blow to this team. I'm of the mindset, people talk about the offense a lot more. I'm more concerned about the defense. I think there's more questions about the defense in the offense this year. 13, who will be the biggest surprise for the Bills defense in 2024?
I got Doreen Williams. It was like, who am I going to get for surprise? Like defense. I think I'm relying on this team has done very well with coaching up linebackers who were not high first, second round draft picks. We go back to Matt Milano. We go back to Bernard. Why not this guy? Who else is going to be a surprise?
Opportunities there.
He's got the opportunity right there. I look at him. He looks like a like, how do you want to say him? Like, he looks like Tarzan, I guess. Whatever the fuck you want to say. He's a big dude. He's fast.
Physical
dude.
Specimen. Yeah,
like, if
man.
the instincts are there, he's going to be good.
He's a traitsy guy. He's got all the traits.
He's got all that physical intangibles, all that bullshit, and who else is going to be there? Like, for the defense, like, like, I feel like he'll be a surprise. Like,
Buffalo Joe. I'm joking.
Yeah, Buffalo Joe over here. Yeah.
Hey, I'm just.
Oh, joking. That guy. Oh, I thought you meant me. Yeah. No, you got that guy.
That I was talking
you
about.
got him going to the Hall of Fame. I'm surprised.
For whatever reason, Dorian Williams is not working out. They'll probably go to Nick Morrow or Deion Jones, who's on the practice squad. That's a good pick. It's there. I like Dorian Williams. He makes too many mental mistakes, missed assignments, just bad decisions. Last year as a rookie, and he got in Sean McDermott's doghouse and never really came out of it. But now, and we talked about this a couple weeks ago, Matt Milano getting hurt sucks. There's no way around it. Dorian Williams at his best is not going to be Matt Milano, but the fact that Dorian Williams is not getting thrown in on a Wednesday in week 4, and he's known for 3 weeks, he's going to be the starter, gives him a lot of preparation time. It's a good pick. Just to be different, I went with Von Miller not being washed up. I know there's a lot of people out there who think he's going to get 4 to 5 sacks, and, he can't be as bad as he was last year. That's almost impossible. But I see him being a guy who's going to get a floor of 6.5 sacks, a ceiling of 9 to 10 sacks, and a couple big ones. I think he's still got some juice left in the tank. So I don't think, what we saw last year with Von Miller, I don't think that's going to be even close to what we see this year, which leads into a disagreement. This is going to lead into a disagreement because the next question for us that you posed was 14, who will be the biggest disappointment for the Bills season?
For the Bills defense.
Bills defense, yes.
Yeah. I mean, I got Von Miller. It's, I just feel, look, he is on the wrong side of 30.
He's 35. Yeah, man.
Yeah, he's just on, and I get what you're saying. Like, hey, you can see him before, like, a surprise. Like, I would be shocked if he gets over 5 sacks. I just think he's kind of washed. I can't see a guy going through 2 ACL injuries in his career and he's going to get back to where he was. And especially, and here's the thing that works for him, kind of, maybe, like, they do this fucking 10-man defensive line rotation. So it's going to be a lot harder for me to really be like, oh, look, Von's rebounding really well, because I don't think they're going to make him play a lot. I think they're going to put him in like that 30 to 40 snap a game guy. and you're not going to really notice him all that much.
He's basically a pass rush specialist at this point, I believe.
A lot of money for him.
90% of the time he's on the field is going to be because the Bills expect the opponent to pass.
Yeah.
One of us is going to be right. Well, it could be actually in the middle. He could be maybe just he's not terrible, but he's not as good as I think he is, but he's not as bad as you think he's going to be. So that's just interesting where we have them differently. All right, so here's my pick. Most disappointing on the defense. And I want to preface this. I might have a little recency bias. I watched some.
I'm a little shocked by this, to be honest.
Little training camp, which means jack shit when it comes to this. Veterans like him yell it in.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way. I have concerns about DaQuan Jones at this point. He's up there in age.
You have been on this guy's jock
because he's been
for
a great
years. Player. You turned your back on him.
He came back from his torn pec last year, and he was not the same player. He was like number 1 or 2 on my re-sign priority list.
You love
in March. So I don't hate him. Have him back.
Training camp has put your brain into worms right now.
I think it might.
I see. This is why I want
to. Everyone, at some point, if you play long enough, I don't care who you are, you're gonna fall off a cliff to some extent.
Sure,
Stephon Diggs, Morse.
Well, Stephon Diggs. Okay,
no, it might not be now, but they're going to if they keep playing. If he hasn't yet already, I don't care who you are. Josh Allen.
Okay,
I think DaQuan Jones is in danger of being close to that point, and I want to be wrong. And you said it. I am a big DaQuan Jones stan. I have loved the way he's played.
You love this dude.
He came back from that injury, and again, he did come back from an injury. Well, I got to pick somebody. Dorian Williams would be too obvious. I guess maybe I could pick a safety. It would have been an easier pick. You know what? I'm changing my mind.
What?
No more DaQuan Jones.
Bullshit. Okay.
You know what? No. This is actually easy. My bad.
Go ahead.
DaQuan Jones, I apologize. It's not DaQuan Jones.
Go ahead.
What it is? Biggest disappointment is going to be Taylor Rapp. Everyone talks about the injuries and Edwards and Cole Bishop and DeMar Hamlin and is Micah Hyde coming back and they're going to sign this guy, that guy. Taylor Rapp from day one has been the starting strong safety. Basically took over for Jordan Poyer, and I'm just not the least bit sold on him. We'll see how things play out at the end of the year. I don't need to get into it more than that, but my pick is going to be Taylor Rapp. I am very, very sorry, dear Mr. DaQuan Jones. All right. Over under. We're at 15 right now. Over under set at 7.5 sacks for Ed Oliver. So 7.5 sacks.
I have him as over. He had 9.5 sacks last year. It was a career high. I mean, he doubled it. Like just looking at his sack total from over the years. Like I think his career high before that was 5. Mm-hmm. So he had. You hate him. You want him off the team. I think you would trade him for a second rounder right now because you hate him that much.
Absolutely not true. Hold on. Did you just say a second rounder though?
You would trade him for a second rounder.
Yes, I would.
You see, you're nuts. I would not trade him for a second fucking rounder.
would. Second rounder.
See, you hate him. You hate him.
What team though? Are you talking a team like Washington or a team that's probably not going to be good? The Giants. I would absolutely take a
hater. You
at
hate
this point.
I would trade him for a wide receiver, not a second rounder. You're a hater. You always hated this dude.
Ed Oliver had one of the emptiest 9.5 sack seasons a defensive tackle could have because he doesn't produce in the playoffs. You're going to make me go on this shit again.
Hey, no, I got you. He doesn't perform in the playoffs. Fine.
Doesn't that matter?
Sure, but we're talking about regular season right now. I think he'll get over 7.5 sacks.
Well, I didn't answer. Maybe I'm going to say I agree with you.
Well, no, you don't. You said under. You see, when did you? Yeah, you don't. You said under for this.
I can change my mind just because you see something in the document doesn't mean the audience does. Jesus I might change my mind. I changed my mind once already today.
You know what?
Anyway,
here's what happened. I'll guarantee you.
No.
I guarantee you, Pat had no idea he had 9.5 sacks last year.
I didn't.
He did it. You fucking do the worst researcher of all.
I should have known because I honestly. Let's be fair here. You were on a weekend family vacation.
And I still looked it up.
And I was on a weekend bender. Okay. So let's just let's just by the way, you want a quick little fun story?
Sure.
Kristen Kimmich from the Bills Mafia Babes and her boyfriend Vinny came into my house. They'd never been to my house. And I had a bunch of people over. Listen, they came over after Wingfest. They worked Wingfest. They come to my house 8:30 p.m. Literally passed out. I was done. House full of people. Patrick decided it was a good time to go to bed
talking
at 8:30.
Buffalo.
So that tells you about my prep for the show this weekend. I'm kind of doing this in real time. But seriously, Ed Oliver, let's put it this way. 7.5 sacks sounds about right. I half joke about Ed Oliver. But I'm not joking when I say I'm not cool with him dominating a 4-week stretch in October and November, and then you're playing the Chiefs and the Bengals in the divisional round, and your boy just completely and utterly disappears, man. So,
all right,
what's up with all these? Joe from Queens, by the way, is the man. Come on,
I'm the king of YouTube.
He's not the man. Keon is going to. Randolph Duke said Keon is going to add red zone TDs. TD passes up this season.
Good character, Randolph Duke from Trading Places.
Trading Places. Hell yeah, that's a good one.
I love it.
I got a couple more of these left.
Okay.
16. What will be your boldest prediction for the Bills defense in 2024?
Well, I have 2 players getting double-digit sacks this year.
Who's the second?
I'm going to tell you right now. Greg Rousseau, Ed Oliver. I think they're both going to get double-digit sacks this year. I just think
it could, because Ed Oliver could have 6 sacks or 4 sacks in one game against. Who's the worst team on the schedule? Arizona. Who's the worst? Think of the worst 3 or 4 teams the Bills are playing. Ed Oliver's probably going to get 6 sacks. And
Tennessee, maybe. Don't they play Tennessee?
Yeah, I like Tennessee's got a little. They got some danger.
They got some danger, but we don't know about the core.
He's gonna sack Jacoby Brissett 5 times.
Yeah.
So that's how Ed Oliver gets to 10.
Here's the thing, and I've been bitching about this for eternity. The Bills, to me, and I think we might disagree on this, don't have as much defensive line depth as they have in the past. And I think they are going to play their guys more than this bullshit rotational 50%. Everyone gets a fucking turn. I think Rousseau. I think Rousseau and Oliver are going to play more this year because of that. And I think that's why you're going to get double-digit sacks from there. It's not like, hey, look,
I halfway agree with you.
It's 9.5. It's 9.5 and 8.5 for one of them. I think they're going to get a couple more sacks. Got 17 games.
AJ Epinesa is doable as well. I mean, he's had 6.5 sacks.
He's mediocre,
but he's only played 45% of the snaps.
Reigns wannabe. Yeah,
but I think I halfway agree with you. Maybe the depth isn't quite as good, but I don't think that's going to change how Sean McDermott plays snaps. There ain't no one on that team playing 60% of the snaps.
Hey, you know what? I'm going to
play 60%.
Hey, but you know what? Sean's not calling the defense anymore. It's your boy Babbage now. So maybe Babbage has got clout now.
That's
maybe
a fair
Babbage
point.
Is like, I want my guys in there, and then McDermott's going to be too busy fucking,
That's actually. I don't even think you intended to do that, but that's actually a really good point.
You just brought it up because I'm a genius.
But if Bobby Babbage is calling plays and if Bobby Babbage is controlling personnel, he may not be as eager to shift and play 8 to 9 defensive linemen as frequently as Sean McDermott did. That's fair. But Leslie Frazier did the same shit too, man. He was all this rotation.
But you know what? I think they trusted Shaq Lawson a lot more. And I don't know who you trusting as the fourth edge.
Right, I think it's Dwayne Smoot right now is like the fourth edge, and then I got a rookie in Solomon.
Yeah, okay, but
that's potentially a good point though. So potentially, I'm interested in that.
So what's your boldest prediction for the defense? I'm sure you did no prep work again because you were hungover.
Well, my boldest prediction for the defense is that they get carried by the offense most of the season. I think this is going to be all right. So then I guess what I'm telling you,
you're bold, man.
Okay, well, if I'm telling you the offense is carrying them, that's basically me telling you that I think this is going to be the worst Bills defense in the last 4 to 5 years.
Okay, cool. Just say this defense. You could have just said like they're going to fall. Where do you have them ranked scoring wise?
I would say I think the ceiling is 10 or 11, and the floor is 17, 18, somewhere around that. That's not to say that I think the Bills defense stinks. I'm not saying that, but I'm telling you that I don't think their defense is as good as it's been the last handful of years because Milano's out because I had 2 Pro Bowl or all pro caliber safeties back there for years and they're both gone and I don't like that. All right.
I'm going to steal this question for you because I literally just scrolled down because I did not see your answers. So for everyone knows, I put this together. I put my answers in first. I'm only seeing Pat's answers now. So I'm like scrolling down my phone. And I literally saw what he says on this next answer, and I'm like, and I took I was stunned a little bit. I was like, "Whoa, you said this!" So, Anyways, I will do this. I said, will Tyler Bass have another down season? I put yes, and that's like a half a heat. Pat, I'm going to give you all the heat. Go ahead, go for it.
I think Tyler Bass will not be on this team before the end of the season.
That's a bold ass. That might be the boldest fucking prediction you've had on this all this milk toast prediction shit. That's a lot.
I think there's something wrong with him right now mentally, and the Bills are doing everything they can to keep him confident. And he's going to have a game, maybe 2 games early in the season where he hurts the Bills because he misses. I don't want to say 32-yard chip shots, but that 40 to 47-yard range, you got to be almost automatic in today's NFL. I think he's going to miss a couple of those. Best case, you hope that it doesn't cost you a game. But
Sure.
I think he's a head case right now, and I think it's going to be a case where he misses a couple kicks, and Brandon Beane does, whether he trades for somebody, whether he plucks somebody off a practice squad, finds a street free agent, somebody. I think is Tyler Bass as good as he physically has been? I mean, he earned a big contract. I just feel like it's kind of like there was a second baseman for the Yankees, Chuck Knobloch. He got the yips. And once he got the yips, he could not throw the ball first base anymore. Exactly. Putters, some great golfers, they get the yips with putting. You don't get it back. I feel like Tyler Bass mentally right now, and I hope I'm wrong, man. I don't know the dude. I just get that sense. This is just me having a sense here.
You should.
I feel like he's lost it, and I don't know that he gets it back. And if he doesn't, you got to move on from him at some point. It don't cost you a game or a season.
Not to tell you how to do your job, but I will. You should definitely. I'm curious, and when you have all your media bros on this week, how does it work? Has he talked at all this offseason, like in training camp? Has he? Because I don't know if like how that normally works. Like for a player like him, like does the press ask to speak to him or how that works? Because I can't remember him. I remember the news. The Buffalo News had a story way back in like freaking like March or April, like him talking about that miss and was gonna. I don't know where they found him. That they found him and they talked about it, but I can't recall a training camp like soundbite from him at all. I
don't remember any to my knowledge.
Yeah, I don't. And I could be wrong,
but I could be right.
Like, did anyone try to talk to him after the Panthers game? Like, you misses the 51-yarder. But I'm only mentioning that not because I wonder if the Bills are kind of protecting him and not making him available because they may have asked him. So you should ask Skursky or your buddy Sal and like, hey, sure. Has anyone asked to talk to him? Because if they asked him, because I could see them asking, hey, can we talk to this guy? Because he seems to be having,
I will definitely bring up Tyler Bass with some of the media people who cover him over the next couple of days. I could be wrong, so I don't want to say something definitively, but I don't think he's talked. But whether he has or whether he hasn't, it sure seems like his confidence is shot.
And my point is, if he hasn't talked, have they asked? Because if they've asked and they've said, no, he's not available, we can't get, that tells me that the Bills think something's off.
Would my prediction be quite as bold if Tyler Bass did not have such a player-friendly contract as opposed to a team-friendly contract where the Bills did not give him big money, and if they just said, you know what, this guy's not getting it done, we get rid of him and he's not going to hurt us at all, like we don't have to take a big dead cap hit and we could actually save money by cutting this guy, I think it might have been a different story. But regardless,
I'll just say this about him real quick, and then we can move on. And this might be the alcohol a little bit because I'm drinking a Whitman Brewing Company hazy IPA. It's 7.5%, and I haven't really eaten today. But I think the only way he saves his season a little bit is if they don't really need him. And it's funny because I kind of have just thought to myself, what have been like some of the bigger kicks this guy has made? Where man, he saved their asses. Like I remember Hauschka. Like, you know what I mean? Like, am I wrong? Like, there haven't been those moments where, man, they really needed to rely on him to make kicks.
I got the perfect scenario. Perfect scenario. If you're a Tyler Bass guy and he needs to get his groove back, to me, the perfect thing would be week 2, Hard Rock Stadium, Thursday Night Football, Miami. It comes down to a 46-yard field goal in the final 15 seconds, and Tyler Bass puts it right through the middle of the uprights. They beat Miami week 2 on a Tyler Bass field goal. All the shit that we're talking about right now probably goes away because he's not a head case.
It might. We'll see.
Let's get to it. By the way, huge shout out, man. Nicholas Doucette, who's watching this live on the video, says, good day, Pat and Joe from sunny Sydney, Australia. Love the show and super pumped for the season. Let's go, Buffalo.
Nice.
Come on. Thank you for that. Alex Barber, why the hell did they give the kicker a big contract?
He is Josh's friend, probably. Who the fuck knows?
You know, just sometimes Dawson, you can say the same thing about Dawson Knox. You can say the same thing about other people. Sometimes you give guys money early on and you hope that it becomes a bargain. Josh Allen got paid and he looks like a bargain right now. Obviously, Tyler Bass, Dawson Knox, not so much of a bargain. All right, we got 3 more of these. Overall team predictions here.
Mm-hmm.
Joe says, this is number 18. How many wins will the Bills have?
I got them at 9. And I went through the schedule.
It's gutsy.
I went through the schedule and I picked. I don't remember. I should have put this up, but I didn't because I suck. I was in a car for fucking 4 hours with a kid yelling in my fucking ear, so I didn't have time. But like, I went through their schedule and I was like, win, loss, win, loss. Yep. I had some shockers. Like I had Seattle beating the Bills. I just felt like that's a trap game. Like going to Seattle, it's a trap game. Like they're gonna lose that game. And there was a couple other ones that I was like, I think they're gonna split against Miami. I think they're gonna split against the Jets because they always split against the Jets. Kind of, it feels like. And look, anything can happen. Fucking Aaron Rodgers can go down and be terrible, and and all that shit. But I just feel this is a transition year for them, and I think their schedule is a little bit harder. I don't think they have enough playmakers on both sides of the ball. You can say, but they have Josh Allen as many times as you want. I fucking get it, but there are years that like elite quarterbacks have their seasons have downers. Like there are 10-6 New England teams with Tom Brady at the helm. It happens.
Sure. Dan Marino, plenty of them.
Yes, exactly. It happens, and I just feel like this is going to be about a downer.
I don't think that's egregious whatsoever. Do you go look at the greatest quarterbacks who've ever played football, and there's always a couple years in there mixed in where things just didn't align. It could be talent purge. It could be horrible injury luck. It could be lots of things, lots of bad luck during games. You lose, the ball bounces the wrong way and you lose by, a field goal or whatever. Joe from Queens.
Mr. Brooks, I literally talked about Greg Rousseau being awesome for like 10 minutes.
Yes, you did.
Go rewind that, buddy.
I'm not going to, it's too early in the week for me to give my personal prediction, because if I say something today, I might change my mind.
Wait, this is bullshit.
I'll just say this much. I'm not going to. I'll answer this one. I'll answer because it's only Monday night for me, dude. I still got to do 4 more of these this week.
Fucking no one's gonna fast forward it then. Oh, this is ridiculous.
I'll say this much. Here's what. I'll say this. 11 wins. I'll give them 11.
Thank you, Jesus.
11 wins. I got the Bills going as of right now. I could change my mind in the moment. Maybe the fans will start cheering live at one of my shows. I'll be like, oh shit, you know what? 12 wins. Let's go.
Okay, fine.
No, but right now, seriously, I got the Bills at 11 wins.
You see, guys, this is let me put some wrestling here. Okay, Pat is acting like I'm like the Brooklyn Brawler, and he's Hogan, and he's like, I'm not wasting my time with this prediction on that. I gotta wait for the big shots. I got Andre the Giant with Capaccio coming on.
Early,
I got Big John Studd coming with Jay Scursy, and I'm gonna save all my good shit for those podcasts and give you all the predictions. Well, I'm just a jobber. Call me Joe the Jobber. Okay,
this is kind of a continuation of what you just said. But will the Bills make the playoffs? How far do they advance?
I say so. I say yes, and they're losing wild card weekend.
So it's going to take some weird wild card tie-picking formula.
Yeah,
you could go 9-8 and still
look.
Last year it took 11, though. I think.
No, it's 10. It was 10. Pittsburgh made it. They were 10-7.
You're right. Pittsburgh won 10 and got in. Yep.
Yeah,
so it's not impossible. It could happen.
You know what? It was one of those things where I was looking at the schedule. I was like, look, I'm going to give them less wins. Like I was on the 10-7 for like the entire summer. Like without really studying the schedule until I studied it on the toilet like a week ago. And I was like, I think it's 9 wins. And then I was like, well, they're going to make the playoffs because they have to make the playoffs. So, I just, that's where I got them at. I think they're going to lose in the first round. I think it's a transition year. It happens. Like you said before, Dan Marino had like a couple 88. I remember, what was it? Like 91, like a year after they went 11-5, like the Dolphins finished like 8-8, 9-7. They lost to the Jets the final week of the year and they didn't make the playoffs. It happens sometimes with great quarterbacks and great, and I feel like we're in that phase where you talked about this before how we were in the Marvel phase 1 and now we're in the Marvel phase 2. And I think there's that transition of that where you're not fully in yet, and you're and I think this is going to be that like a little bit of that downer year. And I think this is what they're taking their medicine this year. And I think next year, depending on what the fuck they do with the salary cap, and I think they'll add more bodies, better bodies, hopefully. But I think this is going to be a downer of a year. But I got them making the playoffs.
I do as well. Obviously, if I got them having 11 wins, I got them making the playoffs. I would say at a minimum, I got them going to the divisional round, which again, what would that be? Like 4 straight years they would lose in a divisional round. But I'm telling you this. I swear I am not pandering to people who are still watching or listening.
He needs people to his shows this week.
It would not surprise me if the Bills miss the playoffs. And I swear to God, it would not surprise me if the Bills get to the Super Bowl either. I really you got one of the best 2 players in the game, as far as I'm concerned, and you got enough good players on offense to put up 25 points. And if you could get a turnover or 2, a big play by a Von Miller, a Greg Rousseau, a Bernard, somebody like that, there's Kansas City they're the best team. I'm going to give them that. But anyone else, Houston, Baltimore, Cincinnati, Cleveland, an upstart team that we're not thinking much about right now, the Bills are right there with any of those teams. Kansas City, they deserve to get all the accolades. They got a really good defense. They got the best quarterback, and they went offensive heavy this offseason. They got Hollywood Brown. Rashee Rice is really good. They still got Kelsey. They got Xavier Worthy in the first round, and they got Patrick Mahomes. So I'm not going to go as far as to say I think the Bills are better than the Chiefs, but they can beat them. Anyone else, I'm not afraid of any other team in the AFC, except maybe Cincinnati, because they just own the Bills the last couple times that they've played them. But anyway, all right, go ahead. I was just saying, let's get the last one in here.
Sure,
this is 20. Award predictions: Offensive Player of the Year, Defensive MVP, and Rookie of the Year.
Just so FYI, because I'm a stickler, we did already talk about the defensive MVP. I don't know why I brought it back up. We both said Rousseau.
All right, so Greg Rousseau is the obvious one.
So
let's make this a little bit harder too, in real time, because the offense, because we both have Josh Allen.
Sure.
Let's say Offensive Player of the Year, but it can't be the quarterback because that's just too damn obvious.
Well, that's what you got to pick.
Let's make it harder. Let's just make it harder.
Okay,
give me an offensive MVP. Give me a defensive MVP that's not Greg Rousseau. Let's make this a little bit difficult. We both said Josh.
We'll call it the Intercontinental Champion fucking for each group. Okay, so Intercontinental, mid-card,
the rookie one we still got to discuss. But go ahead.
Intercontinental for defense, Intercontinental Champion. I'm going with Ed Oliver because you hate him, and I like Ed Oliver, and I want Ed Oliver to prosper.
I don't hate him.
You hate him. You want him. You hate.
I want him to not suck in the playoffs. That's what I want.
Hey, I agree with you. I mean, he needs to be better in playoffs, but a lot of guys need to be better in the fucking playoffs. You know what I just realized?
Not a lot of guys make $68 million and were top 10 pick in the draft.
That's not his fault that he got paid. I was just thinking about this. Like when you look at the last 3 quarterbacks the Bills have beat in the playoffs, it's kind of sad. It's like Mac Jones, that Trace Murray asshole from the Dolphins,
Skylar Thompson. I think it was
Skylar Thompson. Yeah, some asshole. And then like the Steelers guy last year. What was it?
Mason Rudolph.
The guy got his fucking head caved in by a fucking the helmet that one time.
Yeah, again, Mahomes twice.
But I'm saying they've been some
disappearing acts from Ed Oliver and most of defense.
Sure, but I just thought it was funny that they beat shitty teams.
All right, he's your Intercontinental Champion. We're running later. All right, so who's your offensive Intercontinental Champion?
I got to go with James Cook. I'm telling you, they're gonna get him involved more. I think they want to be a more balanced team. I think we're not going to get those beautiful 300-yard games that I have loved forever because they want to be a little bit more conservative. I'm not saying they're going to be 70, run the ball 500 times or anything like that, but I think it's going to be a little bit different. I just really do. I think he's going to be on there. So
okay, I'm going to go. So my Intercontinental Defensive Champion is going to be Terrell Bernard for sure. I really like him. I think he's the real deal. If he can stay healthy, he's a splash player. He's going to make some big plays. My Intercontinental Offensive Champion, while I'm tempted to say Dalton Kincaid, I'm going to stick with what I said at the beginning. I think Khalil Shakir is going to lead this team in receptions and yards.
Got him on the Hall of Fame.
I'm going to go Khalil Shakir, future Hall of Famer, Bills slot receiver / Z receiver. Why? He does it all, man.
Cover one team. Shakir's going to be every
season.
Yes.
Don't you relax on any Khalil Shakir slander. All right, who's your Rookie of the Year too? Because you had Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, I got I don't care about the rookies until they start playing week 1. I got Cole Bishop. I think it's
Okay.
an easier path for him to play more than it is for Ray Davis, because in front of Ray Davis you got James Cook. I know you hate James Cook too. Like, you got him in.
I don't hate James
You hate
Cook.
all. Do you hate anyone on this team? You don't like. You hate. You come on. You hate everyone. Or you got,
I literally do not hate James.
I'm trying
Cook
to give you
whatsoever.
Dude, I'm trying to give you an edge because you're a panderer. So I'm trying to give you an edge. I'm trying to give you some guys you hate.
I'm critical of players like Ed, but
Sure.
I'm not. Look, James Cook has got to catch the football, man. He's got to be. You got to be able to trust him.
He'll catch a little bit.
He dropped 3 touchdowns last year. He had problems with drops this summer too.
You know what? It could change. Tiki
it might
Barber
not-
used to fumble and then he stopped because he carried the ball differently. I'm just gonna go with that. But
well, surprise, surprise.
I
Ray Davis is my rookie.
Yes, you got him in the Hall of Fame. I mean, but look, Cole Bishop, real quick. I think he just has the easier path to start because I don't know what the fuck they're doing at safety. I have no confidence in the safeties. It could be Hamlin. It could be the Edwards guy. It could be Rapp. It could be fucking Micah Hyde coming back from the golf course for all I know. And I think you got this guy in the second round, and he's just going to go, and they're going to put him at safety. And I think he's going to – I feel like maybe I'm wrong here, they trust rookie defensive backs more than they trust a lot of other positional players, and they do. Like, they put Trey White in right away. They put in Benford right away. Remember when we thought? I mean, Elam they didn't. So maybe my point doesn't fucking.
Cole Bishop will play right away when he's healthy. I don't know that he'll start. There'll be packages for him. I think it could be like that dime extra backer. Alex Barker threw in Russell Douglas as his defensive intercontinental champion. That could be
that's possible. Sure,
we got a good pick as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up here. Yeah, we're done. I do want to, before I get out of here again, I want to let people know. First of all, big shout out to Nicholas watching this live on the video side again from Sydney, Australia. That's always cool to see something like that. Again, tonight, Tuesday night, whenever you're watching this, I'm going to be at Sports City Pub with Sal Capaccio for his show. Then I got Tone Pucks on my show later Tuesday night. Wednesday, Sunny Reds, Matt Marino, Howard Simon. Always a good thrill to get Howard on the show. And then Thursday, Jay Skursky, Nate Gary live from Imperial Pizza. I don't need to ask you if you got any parting shots. I think we kind of unloaded the take machine already when it comes.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'll just say this: I'm excited about this season. I'll say this: my wife, when we were in the car, I was like, we gotta get home. I gotta get on this podcast with Pat. She goes, well, how many times are you going to be on with him now? I'm like, well, he tells me I'm on after the games on Sunday, which is like a promotion for me because I went from the emergency.
You will be Sunday games, 10 p.m. That's what we're going to be doing this season for everybody out there who's still listening to us.
I'm stealing my heat. Let me finish my story. And then she was like, "You guys are in love again," because I was like, "Yeah, I guess so." Because before I was like the practice squad guy. Then we broke up last season, and now Pat, he burned out everyone else. Like Aaron Quinn doesn't want to come on here anymore because he hates him. Joe Yurden burned out. He's like, I'm not coming out with you. And I don't know what one of the 5 Marinos are doing, but I'm now I'm in the driver's seat for this season on Sundays to yell at everyone. So it's going to be fun. I look forward to it. The Marge Chanel, the Marge Simpson Chanel suit is gone because now we have new suits coming up this week. I'm excited to do this. Yeah. I hope I'm alive on Sunday night because I got a kid and I'm going to swear at the TV all weekend. And
I like the fact that we're doing it later, the post game recaps, because A, you kind of get some time to really put some thoughts together, and B, again, with all due respect to so many other Bills podcasts out there, some really good ones too, of course. Everyone does a post game show live. Like if the game ends at, the game starts at 1, it's at 4:30. Everyone's live at 5 o'clock, and it's like pick your poison. There's like 20 different shows at once. So
I'll give you an A reason why the 10 works, because my fucking kid's gonna be in bed by 8. So yeah, that works a lot better than fucking 4 o'clock or 5. I'll be having a kid running around here and fucking screaming in my ear. Yeah, you wouldn't like that. So anyway, yes, everyone, make sure you go to all of Pat's live events, throw some tomatoes at him. Ask him about how much he, make sure you tell him that you love me and you're my favorite. Joe from Queens is the favorite part of the show. It'll get his blood boiling, and that's it. Thanks again for listening.
I'm about to cut you off.
Goodbye.
That's enough. I'll be back. Brand new show. Tone Pucks. I think Tone Pucks is going to be with me live tomorrow. I'll talk to you guys then.